Man, you're not my girl. I'm gonna call you my shawty. I can't stand to see you treated bad. I see this ass for my. And we ain't doing nothing that we ain't supposed to do, cause you mine. Whoa. Baby girl, you know I'll be home. Keep it on the ringtone.
Welcome to Road to Billions Podcast, the mentality of an entrepreneur. With your host, Moise Bertrand.
Everybody, it is your host, Moise Bertrand, the Road to Billions Podcast. I appreciate every last one of you guys for listening and tuning in because, I haven't been dropping episodes. I've been very busy with just rehabs and just, mentoring others in real estate. So I've been devoting a little bit of my time just to them and also a lot my side of things as well. But most importantly, I try to come out here and I try to give you guys, not only gems, but also experiences and this knowledge, from just like another perspective. And I wanted to drop that Drewski intro because, as you guys know, Drewski is a very much renowned, known comedian, and he makes a lot of good content, and every content he has, I feel like has a lesson and also has an underlying meaning to it. And that intro was just him pretty much singing the Shawty song, of course. It didn't have an attachment to it. But my meaning of it, that I wanted to post on here was just, two is better than one. And, having a wife or having a husband or having a boyfriend, having a girlfriend or having another significant other, help you in your endeavors and your process. And not only just in growing, but also growing that wealth is so imperative and so much is needed from both parties in order for that to be successful. And I try to make, everybody comfortable in their relationships, and because I'm not in a relationship right now, so I can't really tell you guys what works for everybody, but everybody has their own personal choice, right? And the personal choice that you're faced with is, will this person be able to take me to the next level, right? Do I see myself being with this person for the rest of my life? And if I do, what's the next steps that we're going to take collectively that's going to elevate us, right? And you have to be comfortable having these conversations. These conversations aren't something that we run away from. These conversations aren't something that we try to like push to the side and everything, not talk about and think that is naturally there, right? The guy, he's a provider. The woman, she's there, the nurturer, and she provides that nurturing and peaceful spirit. But what are we going to do together, together that we're going to mash together that's going to create something, right? Let's build this wealth. Are we going to be buying real estate? Are we going to be buying businesses or creating new businesses? You get me? And are we going to be able to put money aside without us splurging and spending this type of money? Because, yeah, we may be rich. Yeah, we may be financially stable. But we don't need to go back to eating. We don't want to go back to certain places. We don't want to eat certain foods. So in order for us to keep this lifestyle maintained, we have to develop a plan in order for us to balance it out, right? Whether we have kids, whether it's us living just together or us living separate lives, we have to understand what's the bigger goal. And I feel like a lot of people, they jump ship when things get kind of hard, right? Just like in business gets hard. Some days, some months, you're going to be doing horrible. I remember I was going on a freaking dry spell run. I didn't get a house in like 7-8 months. Money wasn't coming in. Like everything was this slow, right? And I had to just recenter myself, recalibrate myself. And in the midst of those things, I met a lot of great women and I met a lot of great friends of mine who was able to like take me through different healing stages of my life, right? And also give me advice. I had some OGs give me advice, and I had some women also just give me advice about different perspectives of, balancing emotions and stuff. And I'm thankful for everybody. But one thing I kind of caught myself lacking was that, that compromise. You get me? So I talk about how I was a person who didn't like to compromise in the beginning because I was very much feeling like I was only in tune with myself. And when you're in a relationship and when you're building a business, you have to be on the same agenda as everybody on, as the business plan, right? Me and my business partner can't be on two different pages because if we're talking to an investor or if we're just talking to like a client or anything like that, or if we're just talking amongst each other, we have to understand what we're talking about. We have to understand what's the goal. We have to understand what are we going to get out of this? And we have to communicate that effectively. And with that being said, a lot of people don't know how to communicate effectively. And I was like I said, I'm always take accountability. I was one of those people who I was running away from the communication because I wasn't really in fear of communicating. I was in fear of rejection. I was in fear of not being heard. I was in fear of not being able to lead properly, right? But I feel like every guy goes through that stage where he doesn't feel worthy, or he doesn't really know how he's going to lead a woman, or he's going to lead a family, or he's going to lead a pack. And I feel like that's where we all come into truth, where, you know, the woman, obviously, she caters to his emotions, and he understands that his livelihood is just based off his confidence. You know, once we create that establishment and relationship together and that understanding, now we're able to take it to the next level. Okay, babe, this is what we have situated. This is our mindset now. We could elevate this because our frequency is higher. We're aligned. You know, we're literally one. So we could take our life to the next level. We could put together a 5-year, 10-year plan to say we're going to save 10 grand a year, 50 grand a year, 30 grand a year, whatever it is. And we're going to ball out and go do some things that's going to elevate the lifestyle, and generational wealth is going to be built up. But if you're wanting to do one other thing and I'm doing my other thing, and, you know, we constantly having arguments and battles, and we don't have that fine line of respect and understanding, we won't ever elevate our relationship nor the status of what we earn in the house. You get me? You can make 80 grand. I can make 100 bands. That's 180 grand. But that will never go up past 250. That will never go up past nothing no more. That probably may never go up past 180. And you might be like, why? It's because, yes, you get blessed double when you're with someone, when you're married, or when you're with someone anyways, right? But it's better when you be married because you share those blessings. But when you're not with someone, you kind of, and this is, I'm not telling you marriage or anything is, I'm just speaking just regularly. When you're with someone who is not your husband or wife, obviously, you're taking a chance on the future. Before you get married, you're in that same predicament, right? But the only reason you're able to move on to the marriage stage is because there was a fine line of understanding. As bad as everybody want to say, oh, I regret getting married. Okay, I was never married, right? But let's cut the BS. You understood her, she understood you, or you guys thought that was some type of understanding in the beginning, right? Because she wanted to marry you, you wanted to marry her, you loved her, she loved you, whatever it was, I don't know. And then, you know, you guys made that commitment to get married and you elevated that, right? The same thing in business. You made a commitment to form a truce, to form a group with other people. And other people won't be able to elevate their relationship with you unless they actually get to know you, unless they actually see you spend some type of money, unless they actually see you put some type of work and effort in. You get me? Then they're able to commit to you and elevate that, introduce you to their networking friends, their partners. And now you're building this whole ecosystem of networks of people that is building on top of buildings. So you don't have to have the smartest girlfriend. You don't have to have the richest boyfriend or the smartest guy, right? What happens is a lot of people, they're forgetting that everything is a foundation to anything in life. You have basics. And when you have basics in life, that means everybody's a beginner. When everybody's a beginner, that means everybody's knowledge is the same, right? So you and your spouse are, I would just say, have to. You know, you got to make an obligation to put what needs to be done first. And if you with a girl, if you with a guy, whatever you with, you got to understand that, yes, you guys want to be successful, but what does success mean to this other person? Does it mean just a nice house and a nice car and a couple kids? Because that could be their end of success. They may not have nothing else to work harder for after they accomplish that part of their life. That may just be their whole life. You might just be someone who, yes, you still want those things, but you want to take a vacation every month. You want to have luxury at its finest, at its peak. But you won't be able to get there because that's a whole different level of frequency again, right? it's frequencies. Like you could just tell different frequencies exist in different places. Because we obviously have the hood. It feels a little bit of eerie there, right? You walking through the hood, it's low income, feels kind of off, right? You go through a suburbs, it feels really, it feels clean, it feels modern, right? It feels like this is what society is supposed to be for everywhere. And then you go to the high rich and high earning neighborhoods, and it just feels like astronomical. Like, God damn, this is beyond the veil. This is what the other side looks like. So it's different frequencies in different markets. And when I try to relate that to the relationships, I'm saying you won't really know if someone's for you unless you go through different stages. You got to go through different stages. You got to go through different trials and tribulations in order to elevate that to the next level. And I feel like that's where wealth is built at. Once you achieve that highest level of communication and understanding between one another, you achieve that high maximum of wealth. Because me and you are coming into the relationship already with individual sources of income. I do real estate. I'm a developer. You're probably a nurse or a doctor or whatever you do. And then we're bringing that together. Now we're creating this power couple vibe, right? We're power now. We have this going on for ourselves. We have our head on our shoulders. We're pretty much powerful together. We're empowered. Now the next step in that is to take that power and harness it into reality. What could we transmute this power and put it together, to mingle it together, to make it bigger, right? What could we make out of both of us being together? Because we just can't date just for the look. We just can't date for the fun, right? So we have this mentality that once we're together, we're building this lifestyle that's going to revolve around our interests, our peaks, our hobbies, our lifestyles, and just the way we want to love each other. That right there is going to automatically set the boundaries of, is this person for me or not? Once that person realizes you and them are compatible, you guys can now bounce off things off each other a lot easier. You guys can manifest easy things quickly. Things that may come harder to other people will come easier to you. And just different things is just going to fall into place. I know it sounds crazy, but two is always better than one. And when both people focus on one thing, it harnesses that energy a lot quicker, right? When people tell you, be careful because your thoughts create your reality. Imagine two people thinking about the same thing, right? The very descriptive thing, like we both think about that White House with a black fence and, that white door with the brown door handle. And, we're thinking about these things. We're literally describing it to each other, and we're picturing it in our mind, and we're holding this imagination, envisioning it in it every day for the next 2, 3, 4 years. And we envision how much money we want on our account, and we're thinking about these things. We're constantly working towards these things. Eventually, our energy is so heightened with one another, we create that out of thin air. We create that cosmos, right? And that's why it's so imperative to be very careful about who you interact with, who you spend your rest of your life with, who you have children with. And obviously, a lot of people don't think about these things, but these are just a depiction of you, right? So you can't blame nothing on nobody because your decisions and your actions is solely based off you, right? No one told you to say yes to that marriage. No one told you to keep the child. No one told you to go impregnate that woman. We all are at fault, and we all have things that we're not, we're ashamed of. I have things that I look back on and I cringe. But our past doesn't dictate our future. You get me? So I try to tell people, it's okay. It's okay. We all fuck up somewhere. But the fuck up don't have to stop. So if you want better for your life, just reevaluate it. Reevaluate who's around you. Reevaluate what you think about most of the time. Reevaluate what you watch. Reevaluate everything that comes into contact with you. Sometimes I like to have fun. And I know how to turn that off. And when I get in relationships, I understand that I have to honor that person in their entirety, right? And the same is vice versa. But the goal that I want for anybody that I obviously deal with is to understand that we're young. We're young and we have a lifetime to build, right? This is a journey. This is our personal journey. We're going to have our individual journey outside of our relationship, but when we come together, this is our journey. You know, you may have a problem on your journey that I'm here to assist you. I'm here on my journey. You're going to be able to assist me. Now our journeys are connected because, you know, we share the same story now. So it's imperative for us to be a team. It's imperative for us to be on the same page, because if we're able to align our energy, we're able to harness that, that momentum will be crazy. That momentum will be crazy. The passion will be out the roof for any project that you put out, for anything that you're trying to create, because it's just so high. It's just high vibrational. You get me? So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Road to Business Podcast. Don't rush into getting relationships. Always assess the people you're with. Be protective out there. Have a safe and trusting friend that you can always speak to and get advice from. OG, mentor, whoever you want to speak to get that advice from. And be very mindful about the things you think about. You know, be very mindful about the people you lay with. Be very mindful about where you spend your money. And be mindful about the things you listen to. Because we live in a constant state of entertainment and comparison, you know, in today's society. It wasn't like this a few years ago. Social media made things drastically change. So, like I tell you guys, I appreciate you guys for listening to Road to Business Podcast, because this is my only way of actually venting without causing too much uproar on my Instagram page. Well, I don't really give a fuck, but I don't really want to post that type of shit on here. You feel me? On there, I kind of just like to lay low, you know, chill a little bit, and then, you know, talk my shit on here. But I definitely do appreciate all you guys, all the supporters, all the listeners. If you guys haven't already, update your iPhones. You will now start seeing transcripts on the podcast app. I know some people already screenshot it. Was like, hey, bro, I kind of finally see what you said. You're crazy. I'm like, yeah, man, I appreciate it. It's dope. You feel me? Finally seeing the actual lyrics be written out. And, you know, they tried their best, but for the most part, everything's been pretty much on point. So I'm excited for you guys to not only, you know, follow me continuously on this journey. I will be posting some real estate updates about these past projects that I'm currently working on, have worked on. And, you know, that's just that for the week. So once again, I appreciate you guys for listening to Road to Business Podcast. It's been an amazing journey. Be sure to check out all my other episodes and continue to put God first.